Hey guys, what's going on? This is Roth and Joshua here.
Hello.
Dive deep on Aquaman.
Diving deep.
Diving deep on Aquaman. This is Roth and Joshua, Aquaman, Dawn of Justice, Part 2. Because we already did a conversation that sort of touched on what we thought of it and what we thought the look of Aquaman would mean for the movie. But now we're going to really get into the granular details.
Yeah,
of
let's
his
break
look.
down this image. And the first thing that pops out to me is the awesome Aquaman trident that he's holding. And I'm going to show you guys a picture here of this is Aquaman of the New 52 holding the trident. And a lot of people, when they hear trident, that's like, three, kind of like a devil's pitchfork kind of thing. But this is, even though this has 5 points, this is, the trident of Neptune.
Yes. Harkening back to that, but then also just using the word incorrectly, but that's okay. Zack Snyder also said that, look, this trident can cut Superman people. So that's sort of an interesting note. We had talked in our conversation about how this may be a more combative sort of initial meeting between these members of the team, and that certainly indicates we might see some of that.
And of this New 52 image, Aquaman finds out that the trident is one of 7 golden Atlantean artifacts. So that might play into the movie or not, but that's just still interesting to know. And also just take note of, this is what Aquaman normally looks like, and this is what we're getting in the movie. Very different.
It's different. It's a little more grounded. So rather than having actual scales on his skin, it's sort of the tattoos that function as both scales and arrowheads, yes?
Yeah, well, he said he wanted to evoke sort of the Polynesian people with this character. And they're very, they're based on, they use tattoos to represent things about their people and their family. And so if you're covered in sharp things, if these could be scales, they could also be spears. It really says a lot about you.
It could be scales. It could be arrowheads. It
Shark
could be
teeth,
spears.
yeah.
It could be shark teeth. If you look in the middle, so the tattoo in the middle of his belly, it actually looks to me like one of it's either an arrowhead or a shark tooth or something like that.
Yeah, sort of a negative space being created there.
Or a spear.
Yeah, I can't wait to get a sort of a full. Yeah, I can't wait to see all of his body.
But yeah, that does look like what it is to me, a spearhead, as if his entire being is functioning as a warning that he is a warrior. And
yes.
what if they were all sort of kills? What if those marked kills?
Ooh, each one was a kill.
Isn't that dark?
Like what Nightcrawler was like, everyone's a sin. This is just him killing people. Ooh,
I
a
like
lot
it.
of dead fishermen. But back to let's talk about his hair.
Yes. Okay, so this has been it actually has been a big topic of conversation because Jason Momoa very loudly came out and said, no, I will not be blonde. Okay, so if you look at his hair, it looks like there's either some kind of light highlights, which I don't think that's actually what it is, but it's gray, as if indicating that this is a older king, a grizzled king. He has been tried and tested. I cannot speak today. Tried and tested.
Tied up.
He's been tied up. I'm having a whole different conversation here. He's been tried and tested, and he's really not to be messed with. He has, I think the number of tattoos on his body, which you said were busy, would indicate this is a guy who's been in a battle a lot. And the gray hair is also highlighting that. It's giving him a Poseidon look. What do you think?
I think that's a very practical explanation for this, but I also think it's sort of a nice little wink to the original Aquaman who had blonde hair. So it's it's a wink, but it also has a functional purpose.
It does.
And we're wildly speculating here. We don't know this.
That's okay. That's how we do.
Yeah, that's how we do. Also, so now let's move on to his armor. And of course, it's gold, which is very regal. He's royalty, king of Atlantis. And it's also pulling from I'm going to show you another picture here, the Peter David Aquaman, where they really grizzled Aquaman up, made him a badass instead of just sort of like the more, the first guy we showed, who's just sort of a guy with all his limbs attached and no facial hair or anything. So this
guy's got scars.
Yes.
So do you think so this is armor.
Yeah, this is asymmetrical armor, which you can see, that they're definitely pulling from that. Straps are a little different. This looks like he's just a little more functional, that it's like the shoulder is going down to his hip, so to sort of anchor the armor. Then there's another strap, 2 straps actually going around his neck to hold it in place.
And he's also got the bands, the arm bands, which in a way evoke Wonder Woman to some degree. It's different, of course, but it sort of evokes the same sort of martial feel.
And I believe Jason Momoa actually has that same tattoo, that armband. It's like sort of a ring of shark teeth. And that's I believe it's like a family crest sort of hit for that for his family. And so that's an interesting, also another thing
so
that
art
he has.
imitating life.
Yes.
The other thing that we wanted to talk about was maybe, do you think that at some point in the movie he will lose his hand?
Oh, to get like the hook?
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I don't know if in this movie, because when I say this movie, I mean Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice is
Yeah.
where we're supposed to first see him. But I think maybe somewhere along the line, either in Justice League, maybe I don't know who the villain is, but like Brainiac or Darkseid or someone will cut off his hand, or maybe it'll happen in his solo movie. So he shows up in the next Justice League movie, he'll like be missing a hand. Be like, oh, what happened to you? It's like,
Hey, what happened to you? Well, it's a crazy story. You should see my movie. Go ahead.
And also, we want to focus on the belt, which has the A for Aquaman, the golden A.
And also want to point out the look. Obviously, I think that in our conversation I had said it was sort of black and white, or we were looking at a black and white image, but it's actually the same as the other images, which is just very desaturated colors with hints of color here and there. Like his hair does look black and white, as if they've colored in his face. If you look down, there's a little bit of green on what we think are going to be pants.
I would hope he'd be wearing pants.
No, because he could be wearing some other kind of, I don't know.
Like a Greco-Roman skirt,
could be
like
wearing
Wonder
a
Woman.
Greco-Roman
Him at Wonder Woman,
skirt.
he's like, hey, nice skirt.
Nice
Where'd you
skirt.
get
I
that?
have one too.
Who are you wearing? Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know. I think it's pants. But there's a little bit of green, sort of harkening back to the green look of Aquaman.
Yes,
And let's
yes.
talk about the symbol, the A.
Yeah, that is, originally it's just A for Aquaman, but in the comics it sort of developed its own kind of mythology around it to where it became sort of a symbol of sort of his line. And also in New 52, it was sort of like it had like a special use. It wasn't. It was like almost like a piece of technology. It wasn't just like a little doodad.
So it was
like a
not just a
brooch.
doodad. It was a functional doodad. What did the doodad do?
I don't remember.
It's like, could he like pull it off and use it as a weapon, like a boomerang kind of weapon? I am making.
I've never seen
everything
him.
up.
You're thinking Wonder Woman, yeah.
Well, that's Wonder Woman, but they're going to be friends, so maybe they pick some things up.
He's
from
like,
each
hey, I
other.
like what you did there with that tiara of yours. Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
And
We're
then
being
also,
silly.
the A becoming sort of like an artifact that actually does something is very reminiscent of the Superman S.
Yeah, exactly. They sort of reworked what that was about.
It's not an S.
It's not an S. It's a symbol. It's a symbol, which
It's like
also
it's his family crest and also symbol of hope. Yeah.
right, which also sort of is reflective of the idea of using the tattoos to harken back to his lineage and who he is as a warrior.
So that's pretty much everything we got out of this image. Quite a bit of our first look at Aquaman.
We talked a little bit more about, again, what Unite the Seven may mean in our conversation, so you can check that out and let us know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Did you guys pick anything up sort of on the costume that we didn't? Leave us your thoughts in the comments below, and let us know what you think of Aquaman. Plenty more on Joshua V. Roth, Dawn of Aquaman to come.